let me start by introducing the first man in this contest. You heard the announcement from Hardcore John Atkins. His name is Chris Wyld. He is perhaps one of the most underrated performers in the UK today. He is in phenomenal condition, phenomenal shape. He's by no means a fan favourite, but he is technically sound in the ring. Perhaps pound for pound the most underrated wrestler in the UK today, but Chris Wyld has started to make a name for himself and is looking to use IPWUK, and more specifically his match with Eamon O'Neil tonight, as a stepping stone in his attempt for recognition in the UK circuit. Look at Chris Wyld, he's pacing back and forth, almost like a caged animal.
And his opponent from County Wyld, weighing 203 pounds, the Celtic Warrior, Eamon O'Neil.
And there you hear the music of Chris Wyld's opponent from Ireland, Eamon O'Neil. And you hear Eamon O'Neil, the ever popular Eamon O'Neil, really getting the crowd into this one. They're clapping their hands, they're stomping their feet. And it's always a joy to see the big Irishman compete for for any UK promotion, and more specifically right here tonight for IPW UK. And this one has the potential to be the sleeper match of the night. And I'm not just saying that, I think we will find out in just 1 minute. As there you see Eamon O'Neil. It's very rare that you see a man so big yet so agile inside the squared circle. He has that patented top rope elbow drop, which if he hits, it will be over in a second. And of course, one of the only few wrestlers to have been taught submission wrestling by Mark Sloan down at the FWA Academy. Will submission wrestling play a part in this contest? As there you hear the bells sounded, and it's time to get serious. And this, of course, not Chris Wyld's first taste of IPW UK action, because for Wyld, he was involved in IPW UK's guest match as IPW UK's guest entrant into the tournament to crown the first LDN Wrestling Champion. Tony Sefton went up against Chris Wyld and fell at the first hurdle. And what a match that was, and no doubt that will pop up as a DVD extra of some kind in weeks to come. It's a collar elbow tie-up, side headlock quickly applied by Chris Wyld, and Chris Wyld quickly down to one knee, applying all the pressure to the side of Eamon O'Neil's head, but he gets a release, hops over to Wyld. It's a shoulder block takedown, and Chris Wyld, he may be small, but he is strong, he is built, as you saw in that exchange, where he took Eamon O'Neil down to the canvas, and now O'Neil trying to get the crowd into it, and O'Neil really feeds off the crowd's energy, and this is why it's so important to get yourself down to IPW UK events. The guys, they feed off the crowd's energy, they get adrenaline pumping through the veins, just from the energy delivered from the crowd to them. And believe me, the Orpington Halls is a fantastic venue to witness live wrestling as Chris Wyld hops over, went for a leapfrog perhaps, manages to cut off Wyld there with a kick to a midsection. Beautiful spinning heel kick from Eamon O'Neil sends Chris Wyld crashing to the canvas, and Chris Wyld bows to the outside. And believe me, I've been a fan of Chris Wyld for some time, not of his tactics, but, well, of his tactics may be, but not of his style, his rule breaking, his persistent rule breaking. I've been a fan of Chris Wyld, the wrestler. I've been a fan of Chris Wyld, the technician. I've been a fan of Chris Wyld, the master of this game of human chess, and you see exactly what Chris Wyld is doing at the moment. He's taking a breather. He's getting himself to the outside of the ring. He's not allowing Eamon O'Neil to gain any semblance of a flow of momentum. As this collar elbow tie up once more, Chris Wyld takes the arm. And of course, up next we've got that qualifying contest for the Best of British finals between Andy Boy Simmons and the Drew Galloway. And I'm sure the Drew Galloway will be accompanied by his manager Charles Boddington. He's always a force at ringside. There's a snapmare takedown from O'Neil. It's a knee dug firmly into the spine. Goes for a reverse chin lock, but Chris Wyld manages to jockey out of it. Snapmare takedown of his own. Was Chris Wyld? Oh my! Did you hear the impact as Chris Wyld just kicked the spine of Eamon O'Neil? It's not something that you want happening in the early stage of a contest. The spine is a very delicate part of the human anatomy, as I'm sure you all well know, as there's a headlock takedown by Chris Wyld. Very much a change of the pace from our first two contests. Eamon O'Neil jockeys out with the head scissors. Chris Wyld with a nice counter. Sends O'Neil crashing into the corner. O'Neil telegraphs it, leapfrogs over, arm drag takedown, sends Chris Wyld crashing to the canvas. Rings the arm and the full set just snaps Chris Wyld over as Eamon O'Neil sits down on the arm and elevating himself up so to put more pressure on that arm of Chris Wyld. Sound strategy there from O'Neil, very elementary yet very effective. Lift your body weight and push it onto your opponents. And again, Eamon O'Neil trying to get this partisan crowd, sellout crowd. There's standing room only in the Orpington halls. Trying to get them on their feet. It's a test of strength there. I'm not sure who will come out on top. It seems O'Neil is the aggressor at the moment. And O'Neil takes away the arm. Goes behind with a hammerlock. Oh, Chris Wyld with an elbow there. That's a quick way, easy way. And O'Neil floats over again, but perhaps went to the wall once too often as Chris Wyld catches him, throws him to the outside. O'Neil's on the feet, catches a punch, shoulder block. What's O'Neil going for? Slingshots himself in the ring, onto his feet. Very agile for a big man. Swing and a miss. Chris Wyld catches him with a neck breaker. And there you saw such speed from Eamon O'Neil, but there you saw a great counter from Chris Wyld. And Chris Wyld now just drapes Eamon O'Neil's neck and head across that middle strand and now raking his face across that rope. And believe me, that tape, it doesn't have much give in it. You'll get rope burns across the head. It will hurt like nothing you've ever felt before, especially across the cranium, especially when you're in the middle of a hard and fast contest. As Chris Wyld now not letting down, not allowing Eamon O'Neil any time to breathe, as he's just nailing one after another big butt in the corner. O'Neil comes out and Chris Wyld just nails him with that elbow to the side of their head. And Chris Wyld has very much changed the flow of momentum in this contest. But O'Neil, I speak too soon, takes the arm, European uppercut, big European uppercut. What a beautiful standing drop kick from Eamon O'Neil. Sends Chris Wyld into the corner, reversal. Wyld comes in, house of steam. O'Neil, what's he going for? Rolls through, cover! No, 2 count only, says referee Chris Hatch. Eamon O'Neil takes Chris Wyld down. Oh, there's a step up bulldog. That was beautifully done. Trademark Eamon O'Neil, hooks a leg. Can only get a 2 count. And I think this is just a fine display of IPWUK, delivering you a diversity of styles. As there you see Chris Wyld breaking, telegraphing, but Eamon O'Neil nailing him down. Skips over, Chris Wyld takes him down. And just when it seemed like Eamon O'Neil had this match won, Chris Wyld, bam, just like that, changed the course of the match, suddenly took a dramatic swerve to the left, if you will, as now he's dug the knee firmly into the spine of Eamon O'Neil. And O'Neil could be in some trouble, and look at the way he's now pulling back. Oh my, Chris Wyld now wrenching back on the arms of O'Neil. The feet dug firmly into the head of Eamon O'Neil. And Eamon O'Neil's going to have to, Chris Wyld releases an arm perhaps, goes in to an armbar, to a single armbar, and that may have been a cardinal mistake there from Chris Wyld, which he may live to regret, as by freeing that other arm up, he allowed Eamon O'Neil to just reach over and lace that bottom rope, meaning that the hold had to be broken. Chris Wyld floats over. Kick out from Eamon O'Neil, and the next time we're at the Orpington Halls is for the huge Weekend of Champions event on the 16th and 17th of July, where you will see tag team champions and an IPW UK champion being crowned as Eamon O'Neil gets a boot up. And what's Eamon O'Neil going for? High cross body from the top, connects. Has he got him yet? No, Eamon O'Neil thought he had him, but that's not going to let him down. Oh, swing and a miss from O'Neil. Chris Wyld comes in, House of Steam. Eamon O'Neil cuts him off with a spine buster, and now he's signaling that he's going to go to the top strand perhaps. No! What's he going for? A powerbomb maybe? Oh, Chris Wyld telegraphed it. Chris Wyld has obviously been watching tapes of Eamon O'Neil, because Eamon O'Neil often goes for that big powerbomb-like manoeuvre. But Chris Wyld countered with a backdrop, and now Chris Wyld from the middle strand. O'Neil catches him with a snap power. And that's no, that's not it. Chris Wyld managing to kick out at 2.5. So close to this one being over. Eamon O'Neil can taste victory in his mouth, and I'm sure he can smell it in the air, and it's smelling mighty sweet. But Chris Wyld just rakes the eyes, and that is exactly why I dislike Chris Wyld. The tactics like that, and the straight in view of the referee as well, and someone in the back best be watching this tape, because it's action like this which I'm afraid I just can't justify. And there's a big European uppercut. Did you hear the velocity of that? And Eamon O'Neil cuts him off, and now unloading with punches and chops in the corner. And there's a second knife-edge chop and a third, and Chris Wyld is rocking as Wyld reverses. Eamon O'Neil went in Sterling first, swinging a miss. Fisherman Buster, beautiful bridge. That's got him. No. Eamon O'Neil kicks out of that fisherman suplex and that Northern Lights, with that beautiful bridge. But Chris Wyld is going into unfamiliar territory. I say that, but could he be going for that patented leg drop from the top strand? The same move he put Tony Sefton away with at LDN Wrestling the Showdown. And Eamon O'Neil moved out the way. Chris Wyld crushed and burnt. There was no water in the pool, so to speak, as Chris Wyld just connected with nothing but hard, unforgiving canvas. And this is the opening that Eamon O'Neil's looking for, as he's going for that big power bomb and nails him. Sit out power bomb. Cover. Chris Wyld got the foot on the ropes. What ring presence, what ring awareness from Chris Wyld. Chris Wyld will not let up. Chris Wyld got his foot on the ropes. So important is it for him to gain a victory here in his IPW UK debut. And Eamon O'Neil has gone to the outside, and this is what I'm talking about. The agility from the big man. High risk manoeuvre, as shortly he's going to go for that top rope elbow drop, misses. And in that last couple of minutes, we have seen two high-risk manoeuvres miss. And that is the nature of this sport, ladies and gentlemen. You take risks, and sometimes they do not work out. And Chris Wyld, this is his finisher. This one could be over. Chris Wyld, crucifix DDT, nails Eamon O'Neil. And that surely is going to be a look at the way Chris Wyld laces a leg. It's over. Chris Wyld, victorious in his IPWUK debut. What an impressive debut for Chris Wyld. But what a good showing Eamon O'Neil made for himself. There was 2 people involved in that contest. Let's not forget that. But Chris Wyld, victorious in his IPWUK debut. You may disagree with his tactics. You may disagree with his rule breaking. But Chris Wyld, you cannot argue with his success rate.